Hello, Simon Dixon here, CEO and co-founder of BnkToTheFuture, and I'm here from Hong Kong to tell you about the latest thing that we will be mining, and that is ZCash. So we're going to be launching a ZCash mining-backed security. There's going to be differences to this to our other mining-backed securities we've done in the past based upon investors' feedback. And in this video, I'm just going to very briefly go through some of the important key details, but the main details will be on the investor page and in the pitch on BnkToTheFuture. So what is ZCash and why are we mining it? Well, ZCash is essentially it's Bitcoin and very similar to Bitcoin, but certain elements are encrypted that Bitcoin does not encrypt. So if you think about Bitcoin, Bitcoin makes a transparent ledger on the blockchain, and on that ledger you can see the sender's address, the receiver's address, and the value of that transaction. Well, ZCash is going to do everything the same as Bitcoin, but their goal is to make the sender's address, the receiver's address, and the value of the transaction encrypted, so that the sender and the parties to the counterparties to the transaction can actually decide whether they want to publish that or not, or share it with who needs it. So it's designed to be an improvement upon some of the fungibility and privacy aspects of Bitcoin. Whether it will work or not is anyone's guess. It's got a good team of developers behind it. It's got a good team of backers behind it. It's different to Bitcoin in that it is owned by a private company that's got investors, and they will be receiving a percentage of all the early coins that are mined, which is also outlined in detail on this investor page. So there's certain elements of it that are aiming to serve a different market to Bitcoin, and they're trying to improve on certain aspects of Bitcoin, and it's not run by anonymous, which is one of the reasons why Bitcoin succeeded. So that introduces new risks and challenges to the currency because it's run by a company. So those are kind of the pros and cons, but why we're interested is it's got a lot of traction behind it, and it should create an interesting opportunity. So we decided to allocate some mining to mining ZCash from day one. Now, mining begins on the 28th of October, so that's very shortly. And we're running a 3-day campaign for investors that would also like to co-invest and mine alongside us. But what we're doing differently to what we've done with other mining-backed securities, and to just summarize how they work, our mining-backed securities essentially pay dividends every single day, and that is generated from mining, in this case, ZCash. The returns are paid out in ZCash, and over time we'll actually give you the ability to receive those returns in different cryptocurrencies supported by us, like Bitcoin if you wanted. Or initially you'll just be receiving them in ZCash until we roll out that feature. We aim to be mining, and we've set up our mining to be ready from day one. And the difference that we're doing with this one is, in the past we've looked at charging maintenance fees, and we've also looked at charging a percentage of the coins generated. Well, for this mining-backed security, we've listened to investors' feedback, and we decided that we're not going to charge any percentage of coins mined. We're not going to charge any maintenance fee, and we're also going to offer what we believe is the most competitive price in the market if you want to mine ZCash. We're going to be doing it for 1 year, and the reason for that is what we found with our mining-backed securities is that most of the money is made right at the beginning, and then over time the difficulty rate adjusts if the coin is succeeding, or the coin fails, and therefore the profits just diminish to virtually nothing. So some of our mining-backed securities we've done, a coin that didn't perform too well. The price just dropped, and therefore all the profits were diminished. And beyond a year, it was just dust. With some of our other ones, like Ethereum, which did succeed, the difficulty rate increased over time, which means that it gets more difficult to mine and you receive less ETH as a result. So what we found is that 1 year is a good time frame to figure out whether this is going to return or not. And also making sure that we're mining from day one. So most of the profits were made with the Ether mining back security when we were mining from day one rather than later. So we've learned from those. And what we've decided to do is that we'll just simply be benefiting from some reduction in costs as a result of being able to mine more and benefit from some economies of scale. So essentially, you're just going to be co-investing on the same terms. And our hope is that if you make money from this product, then our investors, you as an investor on our platform that qualifies to invest, would be interested in investing in other products. So that's the new terms. So we've covered what is ZCash. The ZCash mining back security will pay ZCash every day and then eventually be able to convert it to other currencies should you choose. Why are we interested in this? Well, one of the interesting things is just looking at the futures market for ZCash from BitMEX. Is actually trading, and this is no indication of whether this is going to be the price once it actually launches, but there's several elements that make ZCash pretty interesting. Firstly, yes, it's got a reputable team behind it. There's more details on the investor page, and there's a reputable number of investors behind it, which kind of has given it a lot more credibility. And although this is one of the major risks, is we don't know whether the technology will actually work and whether it does what it says on the tin. However, it's a high risk opportunity that it will work, and there will be lots of people mining on there. So that's one of the major risks. This is unproven technology. It's not like Bitcoin; it hasn't got 8 years of history. And it's very challenging to launch new technology in the crypto space, as we've seen with some of the other blockchains once they get more popular, like Ethereum. So, there's a very high degree of risk here involved. The other thing is the economics of it. So, unlike other currencies or tokens or whatever you want to call them, like Ethereum, there was a massive amount of coins that were reserved before mining began to pay for development expenses, and they were launched onto the market, what's known as an initial coin offering, an ICO, and therefore from day one, when you start mining, there's a massive amount of sell pressure from speculators that just want to flip and sell their coins straight away. Well, this coin is run just like Bitcoin, where there is no pre-mine, there's no ICO. All coins that exist have to be mined into existence, and the company gets a percentage of the early coins that are mined, which means that there's not going to be, it would appear that there's not going to be the massive amount of selling pressure from day one that other coins experience. So that means that most of the people on the market, in theory, and this is what caught our interest, are going to be buyers, because there'll be the people that don't want to mine will have to buy on the market, and I think there'll be no sellers because none of the coins have actually been mined. So that creates an interesting market force, really, that's different from many of the other coins that are launched. The other thing is, if you look at the BitMEX futures market, whether this is an accurate portrayal of what the price will actually be. But as I look at the market right now, they're actually trading on the futures market before the coin is launched for approximately $125 per ZCash. So that is, denominated in Bitcoin, and that's the exchange rates at the moment. I've got no idea whether that will actually be the price upon launch, but that's what futures traders in an illiquid futures market are actually pricing ZCash at the moment. So what else do you need to know? Well, the Genesis block, the mining begins on the 28th of October, and therefore we're all ready to start mining for that date. The details of the type of mining it is, for those that want to know, are on the investor page. So we're going to be running a three-day campaign for investors that just want to co-invest alongside us. And I just want to end really on some of the risks that investors need to be aware of. This is new technology, it's unproven. Price will massively affect profitability, and so will the difficulty rate. Will affect how many coins are mined, depending upon how many people are mining for that. We tend to see that most of the money is made early, and then gradually, if the coin succeeds, the difficulty rate increases, and therefore over time the number of coins diminishes. Or if the coin's not going to succeed, then the price tends to crash, and therefore it becomes a low returning product, and the number of coins become worth less and less, which affects ROI, obviously. So, this is very, very speculative. It's a brand new coin. It's untested technology. But we're going off the reputation of the people that are building it, the reputation of the investors that are backing it, and the amount of interest and hype that's actually been generated in the market. We believe is going to generate a lot of interest, and also the economics, that there's no pre-mine, there's no ICO, and it's following the tested model of Bitcoin, and attempting to serve a slightly different market, which is allowing the sender's address, the receiver's address, and the number of transactions to be actually encrypted, so that you can only share if you wish. Whether that works or not, the jury's out, and that will determine whether this is a returning investment or not. So I hope that explains a little bit more. All the details are on the investor page. We're going to be mining ZCash from day one. You can co-invest on the same terms. The price that we've actually come up with is just based upon what we're seeing in the market. We believe we can beat the market. So for every $43 invested, you'll be able to get 1 hash per second. And that's, from what we've seen, the best rates on the market at the moment. For those interested in joining us. And this is a hands-off way. We'll just simply, you have your BnkToTheFuture account, and we'll just pay you your ZCash each day for a year, as long as that mining is generating coins, and the blockchain works and the coin works. So again, I just want to reiterate, high risk, high return opportunity. And so, yeah, we'll leave everything over to the investor page, and thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing what ZCash can bring to market. Thank you.